Hi there everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. This is ELA mini lesson number 28. We're almost done with these mini lessons, and today what we're going to focus on is annotating, something that we've talked about before, but I just want to cover it again and then we'll get into the lesson, so here we go. Alright, so let's get into what annotating is. So annotating is the process when readers take notes and flag or highlight important information while they are reading. So this is where when we look at our text, we mark it up. We flag it, we underline, we highlight, we look for things that are important. What annotating does is it does all of these things for us as we're reading new text, either informational or like a story. So the first thing it does is it focuses on what readers are reading. So it's like the magnifying glass. It focuses and zeroes in on the important aspects of it. Another thing it does is it helps understand the details of the text. So when you're underlining and highlighting, you're pulling out key details that are important to the text in order for you to truly understand it. What else it does is it keeps track of your thoughts and feelings. So it keeps track of readers' thoughts and feelings as they're reading this text. So they can write in the margin, they can write things that are interested on, you can ask questions. Just keeps track of the information that you're reading about. Another thing it does is it keeps track of the important details. So rather than going back and rereading the entire text, what you can do is look at the things that you annotated, that you highlighted, circled, underlined, wrote in the margin in order to focus your details on what you think is important. What annotating does is it prepares for a discussion, so it prepares you to start talking about the text, and it also prepares for you to write about it. So write down information that you learned about, so you can go back and look at the annotating. In your reader, in your spending time and money reader, on the very first page, if you open up, there's a table of contents and there's an tips for annotating right here. These are the different types of annotations that you can do to pull out the information. So you can underline key details, you can star the main idea, you can mark a sequence of events, you can circle unfamiliar words, you can use a question mark to ask questions, and you can use an exclamation point to mark things that are interesting. And here's kind of an example down here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to read a new text and we're going to practice annotating it. We're going to practice marking it up, looking for and focusing on all these different things as we're reading. And another thing that we're going to look at is we're going to write down a guiding question to focus our thinking as we're reading this new information. All right, so let's get started. Here we go. All right, so you need your homeschool packet week 10 page and you need your Time and Money magazine. What we're going to do is we're going to turn to our close reading page, our graphic organizer, and we'll read the directions. It says, read from fruit to jam and annotate key details. What choices have to be made when making marmalade? Marmalade. I don't know what that word is, so this is going to be our focus question. What choices have to be made about making marmalade? I think we're going to be reading about that in our text. So let's go just preview it really quickly. So remember, annotating is all of this stuff right here. That's what we're going to be focusing on today, and we'll be answering that question. So we're going to turn to the page. We're going to skip this one, and we're going to turn to from fruit to jam. Jam, yum. Tasty list of choices. Okay, so I think there's going to be a bunch of different choices. So the title is From Fruit to Jam. Okay, so we're going to be reading From Fruit to Jam. Bless you, Danny. From fruit to jam. There's some jam there. That's what it looks like. Great, we have the picture. Then we have a heading. A heading is a tasty list of choices. So the first part is going to be about all the different choices of jam. It's by Alan Wood. Then we have subheadings. These are the subheadings right here. And each of the subheadings are going to give information about what the title is. So making choices with jam, growing oranges is going to be the next part. We have some pictures right here, photographs with captions, so go ahead and read over those. If we look at the top, it is an informational social studies, so we're going to be learning information. Turn to the next page. Another subheading is manufacturing marmalade. Ooh, This might be a focus of our question. Marmalade. I don't know what that is. Look at, I'm already annotating the text as I'm pre-reading. I'm writing questions, and I'm looking at all the different pictures. Then we have interesting pictures. Go ahead and read the captions there. Then we have choosing the right method, another subheading. So that'll be all about right here. Here's another photograph and caption. Then we have making marmalade choices. All right, here's some more information on marmalade. Here are more pictures with captions. Go ahead and read and look at those. Then we have this thing called branding the jam. I don't know what that means, question mark. So again, I'm annotating already. Then we have a picture and some captions. Read that. Ooh, this is interesting right here. This looks different from the rest of our text. It says consumer choice, when less is more. So that's going to be kind of what all of this is about right here. And then we have a photograph. It says making and selling jam from farm to store. And then it has kind of a step process. So it's kind of sequencing and kind of a cool graphic feature. All right, so that was us just like picture walking, pre-reading our text. So now we're actually going to read it. All right, so what I've done is I've written down the question from our graphic organizer. Remember, it's what choices have to be made while making marmalade. So I wrote down that question right here. I annotated the question because I need to have something in mind as I'm reading my text to kind of focus my attention and do the annotating, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it out loud to you, and I'm going to annotate for you, and you're going to read and follow along with me. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go answer these 3 questions, okay? So if you want to look at those questions to focus your reading again, you can. I have our big question right here, so let's get reading. Here we go. How do companies decide which products to sell? They make choices. They choose which products to focus on. They choose which raw materials to use to make their products. They choose how to make and package those products. They choose where to sell them. They choose whom to sell them to. They choose how to support the product to markets in their county or their country, or even around the world. The decisions companies make show how choices can affect economics. Ooh, I'm going to underline that, and I'm also going to circle it. So companies have to make choices. I think is important. Okay, now we're going to learn about making choices. Jam is a very popular product in the world. At the breakfast table, it sweetens slices of toast. In the lunchroom, it is the perfect companion to peanut butter on a sandwich. American companies produce about 1 billion pounds of jam or jelly a year. But where does it come from, and how does it reach consumers or customers? So I might just underline jam is a very, very popular product. Making choices, one thing that they need to do is make jam. All right, turn to the next page. Growing oranges. Likely jam is a preserve made from fruit. I might circle that word preserve, made from fruit. I don't know what preserve is, but it's something made from fruit. So it's a thing made from fruit. There are dozens of different flavors. One of the most popular is orange marmalade. Oop, there's that word that I don't know. It is made from the whole orange, peels and seeds. Made from the whole orange, peels and seeds. The peels and seeds are what make the marmalade so thick and chunky. So marmalade is thick and chunky. The first step in making orange marmalade is produce the fruit. Produce. I might not know what produce means, so I'm going to keep reading. Farmers grow the oranges on trees in orchard. They have to consider the best place to plant the trees. They also have to decide the best seeds to use. They must also track the weather. Frost can kill oranges, so farmers prepare by having heaters ready. Those are all important choices. When oranges are ready, workers pick them. When the oranges are sent to the factories known as food processing plants, now the work of the jam making has begun. So they must produce the fruit, they must grow the fruit, and pick it. So what I did here is I underlined a little bit of this. I circled this word produce, and then I kind of created a main idea for the paragraph, and I said, grow the fruit and pick it. So go ahead and write that down. This is going to help me as I'm answering these questions right here. So sometimes writing down your own writing can help with that. Then right here it says the choice of farmers may affect the orange's look and taste. After the oranges are grown, they are shipped to processing plants. So that's just pictures there with captions. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to be manufacturing marmalade. Ooh, I don't know what manufacturing is, maybe. We're going to find out. People often make homemade orange marmalade. The process of manufacturing, ooh, there's that word, in factories is similar. So in factories is similar. However, the quantity is much larger. Also, manufacturers use equipment that can't be found in a kitchen. The entire process takes several steps. They're listed below. Oranges are crushed. The pre-crushed oranges are boiled with sugar and other ingredients. The crushed fruit mixes into the cooled. There are 2 methods or ways to complete these steps. Jam makers must choose between an open pan and a vacuum pan method. So manufacturing marmalade means making the marmalade. It's basically a jam, and these are the steps here. This is the first one, second one, third one. And then the fourth one, you choose either open pan or vacuum pan. So I even was able to sequence the events. This is what you do first, second, third, and fourth, all right? Here are the 2 different pictures. To make marmalade, oranges must be crushed and put into water. There's that. As the water boils, the orange mixtures and sugar and other ingredients. That's there. Okay? Moving on. All right, so we're on page 25, choosing the right method. Ooh, I think this is going to go back to the open pan and vacuum pan method. All right, the open pan method is used by home cooks and farmers. I might circle that, home cooks and farmers. The farmers use the method. Sorry, I think I got cut off there. So what the open pan method does is it's more homemade, better, and it's better for selling at the local market. All right. The other method uses equipment called a vacuum pan. So there's 2 methods in creating marmalade. It is a sealed container. Most companies choose this method. It is faster than open pan. It also saves on fuel. This helps the company save money with large quantities. Large quantities means large amounts of marmalade. However, the homemade tastes better. So what this is doing right here is comparing open pan to vacuum pan, looking at the similarities and differences. This is vacuum pan method used by large jam manufacturers. All right, let's keep going. So sometimes what I like to do is I stop my reading, go back to my question. What choices have to be made when making marmalade? Okay, so far you have to choose the product that you want, pick the fruit, manufacture, make the marmalade by choosing a method. You either do an open pan or vacuum pan, and then we're going to continue on. Making marmalade choices. All right, so making marmalade choices. Companies also make decisions about the materials they use. They think carefully and even rethink their choices. For orange marmalade, they must choose which kind of sugar to use. Some use white sugar, while others use raw sugar. White sugar is often less costly and tastes better, but it is not as helpful as raw sugar. Companies can also choose to add other ingredients like ginger or to change the flavor of the marmalade. So notice how I'm circling some of these words right here. The reason I'm circling them is because I think they're important vocabulary words as I'm reading. They have white sugar, raw sugar, and ginger. So these are choices that they have to make. After the orange marmalade has been produced, it must be packaged. Most companies package jam in glass jars. They keep it fresh. They also print labels from the jars. The front label is often an eye-catching image to attract customers to the store. So notice as I'm reading, I'm not highlighting and underlining everything. What I'm doing is I'm picking out key words and phrases. Packaged, glass jars, print labels, eye-catching image. Those are things that'll help me when I'm answering questions and focusing my attention. Some companies choose raw sugar, so there's the raw sugar. They check the marmalade in glass jars, so there's somebody checking it out. And here we go. Branding the jam. Ooh, remember I circled branding because I didn't really know what that means. A label may tell customers something special about the marmalade. An underlined label, too. For instance, it might mention if the oranges used to make the marmalade were grown in an organic orchard. Organic farming has become a trend that has influenced the marketplace. I wonder what that means. Organic. Organic farmers must follow certain practices that many people believe are safe and more healthful. Companies that follow these practices use the word organic on their labels. That way they can draw in customers who want organic foods. It makes the jam special. All right. After the marmalade has been packaged, it is ready to be shipped to stores for restocking shelves. Go to the shelves. Trains and trucks carry the packages product to supermarkets all over the country. Farmers can also sell their own jam at a farmer's market. Now it is up to the consumers to make their choice. Companies must also decide what kind of label to put on their jars. So the labels are these parts right here. So noticing I'm even annotating the pictures that I'm looking at. Okay. Consumer choice, which is more. We'll read this later. I want to continue just reading this informational text. Jam offers must just one example of how products are made and sold. Jam making demonstrates many of the company choices that a company, so they have to make choices, companies must make to make their products into a customer hands. Making good choices helps a business be successful. So down here, it took all that information and put it into a nice little step-by-step direction on how to make marmalade. Our focus question was about the choices that you have to make as you're making marmalade. And I'm going to read this question. Consumer choice, which is more? When less is more. Today's consumers are faced with many choices about what to buy and how to buy it. Price is often a big factor. I'm going to circle price is often a big factor in this decision. Personal preference is another. Jam is a tasty food, but it is considered a want, not a need. What factors influence a person's choice of jam? A recent study by professors at Columbia University and Stanford University showed that consumers were more likely to buy jam when they had fewer choices. The study found that when shoppers are given the option of choosing among smaller and larger assortments of jam, they show more interest in the larger assortment. But when it comes to time to pick just one, they're 10 times more likely to make a purchase if they choose among 6 rather than among 24 flavors of jam. Interesting. All right, so now we're going to go to our graphic organizer and we're going to answer some questions. So the first one is, what choices do companies have to make when creating products? I would like you to go read page 22 and answer the question. Go. All right, the second question that you're going to do is, what choices do people have to make when they are growing oranges? That answer is on page 23. I know that because of the subheading. Growing oranges. So reread page 23 and write down some details here. Go. And then the last one, explain the process of making orange marmalade. What choices have to be made during this process? What I would do is I would use the handy dandy graphic feature on page 29 and write down the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Write down the steps. Write down the steps. And then write down some choices. Go. All right, we're going to do the apply question on the bottom. Part A is, what is the main idea of paragraph 4? You know what I would do? That's right, you guessed it. Go to paragraph 4. Reread it. Ooh, look at my annotation. This might help me with my answering the question. Let's see if it helps. So I said, grow the fruit and pick it. Orange marmalade is one of the most popular jams. Farmers grow orange trees in orchards. There are many choices farmers must take when growing orange trees. Jam can be made either at home or in factories. The first step in making orange marmalade is to produce the fruit. Farmers grow the oranges on trees and orchards. They have to consider the best place to plant the trees. They also have to decide the best seeds to use. They must also track the weather. Frost can kill oranges, so farmers prepare by having heaters ready. Those are all important choices. When the oranges are ready, the workers pick them. Then the oranges are set in factories known as food processing plants. Now the work of the jam making can really begin. I'm going to give you a hint. One is a detail, but you need to look for the main idea. Remember, the main idea is what the whole thing is about. Is it one small part or is it one big part? And then part B, which sentence supports the answer to part A? Go ahead and answer that question, log it on your homeschool log. Alright, thank you for clicking on this video. That was ELA mini lesson number 28. That was all about annotating and why we do it, so hope you liked it. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.